Hello friends! We are back with another video. This week's topic is relationships, hookup culture, dating, boys in general, long distance. First of all, Instagram was being so weird, so like if you didn't get a chance to see the live video, hopefully you're watching this obviously. By no means am I an expert at all with this whole dating thing and guys in general. I'm actually
not an expert at all.
Patiently awaiting my mans to fall from the sky. Aren't we all? So I wanted to share a little bit about my past relationships before we kind of get started with the advice, just so you guys can kind of tell where I'm coming from. I had two relationships that were both a part of college. First of all, you might laugh at this, I dated the same guy from the end of 8th grade until October of my first year at college. So we dated for almost 4.5 years, and when we got to college, things didn't really work out. My second relationship also at college, and that was like only for a couple of months. That's kind of where I'm coming from. As you can imagine, my transition from like high school to college, that relationship of 4 years, that had like a pretty big impact on my entire year. Just so you know, my biggest philosophy is just that like everything happens exactly how it's supposed to. I'm so thankful for both of those guys. They're honestly both amazing people. Kind of literally like what Ariana Grande said.
Thank you, next.
That came out like right after my breakup, so I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is the thing. But seriously though, everybody that you date, everyone that you interact with really teaches you some sort of lesson. Before you freak out about your college relationship, is my relationship gonna work long distance, blah blah blah, just know that exactly what's going to happen is meant to. Like everything's fine, so just chill. So I asked on Instagram some of the other current college gals that are in our community to share some of their advice regarding relationships in general. So I'm gonna share what they kind of said, and then I'll get to answering all of your guys' questions. First thing that this one says, if you are in a bad relationship or unsure if you should be in it, college is a great place to start fresh and get over a past relationship and find new people. Yes, girl. Yes, yes, yes. That is super true. There is literally no better opportunity for you to find yourself, to find new people. They also put, look for friends, not significant others. And if that ain't the truth, I don't know what is. You need to have a solid support system before you go finding guys. You need to have time to discover yourself before you can date someone else. You're individuals before you're a couple. You just have to grow individually. And that's what I was lacking in my first relationship, was just that I had grown with him for so long that I never had time to explore who I was. I never had time to live like without him, which sounds like really dramatic. So that's why I'm so thankful that we broke up when we did, and like I've had so much time now to kind of like do some self-reflection and self-discovery and like what do I want out of life, because there's so much more to life than like this one life you knew in high school. Another girl also said, not necessary, but don't be too serious about relationships until you have yourself figured out. Another one says, don't feel like you have to find your husband in college. That puts too much pressure on you. That's so true. I'm guilty of it, thinking like college is where I'm gonna find my man. Like no, there's so many people in the world. When I was going through my breakup with the 4-year guy, I look back and my Visco was like so dramatic, all these like quotes of like, whatever, Josie, you're so annoying. But I had this one that said, there are about 7 billion people on the earth right now. Half are men. When we divide 3,000,000,005 million by 100 to represent 100 different age groups, that brings us to 35 million men per age group. That means there's at least 350 million men out there between the ages of 15 and 25. That's a lot of people. So don't limit yourself to just these like 1,000 guys at college, at least 12 guys you knew in high school. No, there's so many more people out there, so many. My relationships failed, so I might not even seem like an expert at this stuff, but I have learned quite a bit through my experiences. As far as long distance goes, so the boyfriend that I dated for 4 years, we actually only lived like 15 minutes apart at college, but it honestly felt like he could have been anywhere on the earth. So it was a little bit of long distance, although we did get to see each other, so I can't really speak to that extent really. But one of my friends, I asked to share some of her advice, and her main gist of what she had to share with y'all was just that like you can make it work. You gotta schedule time, you gotta say, okay, this night and this day, like drop everything and this is when we're FaceTiming. This is when it's our time. And then it gives you something to look forward to. And there's gonna be some give, there's gonna be some take, and it is harder being long distance, but anyone can do it. Like you really can. One of my good friends, he was talking to me and he's like, dude, I honestly just don't believe in long distance. I don't believe that it's like could be an issue in a relationship at all, because his mom is actually from Ireland and his dad was living in California. So they ended up like getting married and they had this huge long distance relationship relationship forever and they still made it work. So he's like, I don't go for that. Like, that is not an excuse to not be with somebody. So now I'm gonna go through and kind of answer some of y'all's questions. First up, how did you find a relationship without feeling like you're settling? For me, I feel like if you have any questions about the relationship, if you have questions about like, is this the right fit for me, and this thing bothers me about him and this thing bothers me and we keep getting in, like, that's not it. Like, don't like just settle. You deserve so much. If you're unhappy, then like just do something about it. Don't be afraid to like ruffle the feathers and stand up for yourself and say something. No one deserves to make excuses all the time. Advice about how to transition from a high school relationship to a college relationship. You're gonna hear me say this 1,000 times throughout this video. Time management and also communication. You need to be able to say, this is our time. This is when we are going to talk. If you're going to the same college, that's probably not gonna be as hard for you, but it is a very, very different scenario, and you have to understand that like everyone is trying to find themselves and everybody's living on their own for the first time. Everybody has new schedules and new environment and everything, so you have to be like understanding of that. Kiera, my friend that does long distance, she said that was the hardest part, was the very beginning of each semester, because you don't know who they're around, you don't know what they're doing or what their classes are like or anything, so you just have to give each other that like period of grace to be able to say like, oh well, she's really stressed out, she's missing home, he's missing home, that type of thing. How do you get over a breakup? Girl, if I had the answer to this question, I think the world's problems would be solved. I could go and make an entire video about just getting over a breakup. It takes a lot of time. That's the simple answer. And you have to be able to give yourself time and let yourself be sad for a little bit. I'm not saying like sulk for years, but I am saying that you need to give yourself grace and realize that there is a greater plan. It sucks to hear in the midst of it. Be sad, eat some ice cream, get back on your feet, do something to distract yourself, go to the gym, move, try and make yourself better out of it somehow, because you can, and I promise you, you can. I personally just don't think, had I not broken up with these guys, had I still been with either one of them, I think my life could be completely different. It's not always a bad thing to break up. Like, it might feel really crappy, but like, it's not always bad. It's meant to be. What are some immediate red flags when meeting guys in college? Like, no go, girl. For me, my dating life is I date to marry. I look for people who I see as future husbands. Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you just like kind of date for fun. Whatever your thing, that's fine. But red flags for me personally, and I think they vary from person to person, people who don't seem like their morals align exactly how mine are. They make negative comments, or like, I don't know, how they interact with others, that's huge for me, but I don't know specifically. Red flags kind of just varies, I would say. How the heck do I balance a relationship with college while staying sane? Again, girl,
time management.
Schedule that time to talk to each other. That's my best advice. Is hookup culture really as big as people make it out to be? Did you ever feel pressured? This is kind of the same as my party scene advice. If you're looking for hookup culture, if you're looking for the party scene, you can find it. If you're not looking for it and you don't want to be a part of it at all, you don't have to be a part. Like, it's really you find what you seek out. I personally never felt pressured, but I know a lot of people that did kind of fall victim to it. It's fine, like, if that's your thing, again, like,
go off, sis.
if you're not looking for it, like, don't freak out. But you do have to be understanding of the fact, like, there's gonna be guys that may not have the same intentions as you. So just be aware of that. Be yourself and stand firm in your beliefs. Do you have any guy friends? If so, how did you meet them? So I do have a lot of good guy friends. A lot of my friends that I've met are either through work or through clubs or just like living in the same residence hall. They are honestly so cool. We had to pass through the guys' hall to get up to our room. So we just like made good friends with a lot of the guys that were on that floor, because they'd always just be like hanging out in the lounge and stuff. A lot of them are good friends. I definitely recommend getting guy friends. It's just a lot of fun. This one says, LOL, so never really had a serious relationship, but I'm waiting for the one. Any advice? Really, I just think the best advice here is if you're waiting for the one, sister, you gotta just like be you. Like, do your own thing and it'll fall into your lap when it's supposed to. I personally think like you don't necessarily have to be seeking out a relationship all the time. Just kind of like do your own thing, be the best version of yourself, because you would expect that from your future husband. So you need to be doing the same thing. This one says, how am I able to find a good Catholic guy that has the same values and beliefs as I do?
So I'm wondering the same thing.
It's so funny because a lot of the questions you guys ask me, I'm like, yes, girl, this is me. For this one, I would say finding somebody who has like the same general like mindset, beliefs, and things as you, not always exactly gonna work out. But to find people most similar to yourself, I think that just kind of naturally happens when you're in certain clubs that you're really passionate about. Obviously, if they're in the same club as you, then they have the same kind of value, or they are really, you know, interested in whatever that is. Join some clubs, find some guys in there, go to church. If the Catholic thing is what you really want, like do some Catholic clubs, go to mass, check it out. But same sister, I am right there with you. Okay, this is the last one I got. So it says, I'm in college, he graduated in December, we both have crazy schedules, we're supportive of each other's goals, and I have a good relationship. But I feel like we're both gonna get busy, and I wanna know how to still keep a healthy relationship.
Communication is key.
Time management is also key.
That's my best advice there. And also, guys, if you didn't see my Instagram post, you really need to go read it. It's kind of the top 10 things that I've taken away. A couple things that I do want to emphasize. Do not make excuses for somebody. There's no need to do that. You know what you're worth. You have so much like potential just being an individual. So like I kind of said earlier, be an individual before you're a couple. I also think friendship is a huge part of a relationship. Be friends before you jump into a relationship, because I think friendship is the most solid foundation you can ever possibly build your relationship off of. I mean, that's the end goal, isn't it? To be best friends with your husband. Also, just know that like no guy like defines you. No guy does. Don't let somebody else's life predict what you do.
Don't let somebody else's life predict what you do.
Like, do your own thing. The first boyfriend I had, we actually didn't even share where we were going to college until we finally decided. We didn't share where we were applying. We didn't share where we had finally decided. We just didn't talk college at all because we wanted it to be completely separate. I didn't want to sway his choice. He didn't want to sway mine. And we did end up, like I said, living like 15 minutes apart. So it kind of worked out, but then obviously we didn't stay together. So whatever. I'm just saying, like, you need to be you. I wish I could have just like shaken myself a year ago today. Do your own thing. Don't let other people control what you do, because it's your life at the end of the day. You have to be able to count on yourself. You're the only one you can count on, so make decisions for yourself. You're beautiful alone. Your body is fine alone. You can be successful alone. Girl, you can do so much alone. Oh my gosh, I wish I could have just like kicked myself a year ago. And then the other final thing is really just everything will work out. So don't stress about it so much. I know it's really hard and I do it literally every single day. I'm like, But seriously, be patient. God's timing is greater. You have so much good stuff in store. I hope this was at least a little bit helpful. I'm really liking doing the live videos. I think I'm gonna start doing some more in-person circles though. We're gonna start mixing it up. I'm so excited that you're a part of this community. Thanks so much for joining me, sister, and we will see you next time. Bye. That was so weird. Why did I do that? Bye, guys.